Yo, what's cracking everyone? Ericship 111 here, and I think it's time for another update on which are Forza Horizon 5's highest voted cars that the community wants. Now, for those who may not know, over on the official Forza forums, we can essentially request and vote for the cars we want to see in Horizon 5 through the suggestion hub, and to Playground Games' credit, throughout the game's life, they have actually introduced some of the most highly requested cars from the community into the game, cars like the Nissan Suru, the Toyota GR Yaris, and the Lamborghini Huracan STO, just to name a few, and that's not even mentioning all the other new to Forza cars that weren't necessarily the highest voted, but still received a decent amount of support, which has also been added too. So the question is, how much has the list changed? And in today's video, here are 9 of the highest voted cars from the community that we want to see in Forza Horizon 5. Starting in reverse order, beginning with the Lamborghini Ralo. Sitting at 1,738 votes, the Ralo has slowly become one of the most highly requested cars that players want. Now, I do understand the appeal of this Lamborghini. It is the true successor to the Aventador, in which Horizon 5 has about 5 different variants of. It does aesthetically look different, and finally has proper hybrid technology equipped, meaning that it's insanely quick, producing over 1,000 brake horsepower. Lamborghini's flagship model now has entered hypercar territory. Currently, there are only a few racing games that actually feature this car. Majority of them are on mobile, and only one AAA title, which is of course the Crew Motorfest. And given that the Ralo was also one of the cover cars for that game, this often means that there's some exclusive license deal that was perhaps signed. So I'm unsure if we will see the new V12 Lamborghini in Horizon 5 anytime soon, but really, do we need another Lamborghini right now? Next, the Maserati MC20. Ah yes, the good old Maserati MC20. With a total of 1,775 votes, most of you following my channel will know that this car was leaked on 3 separate occasions. The first was way back in August of 2023, where a list of new to Forza cars were discovered within the hidden folders. Most of the cars from that list are now actually featured in Horizon 5. The second was a body kit brand which appeared in the hidden folders called Oriya Carbon, who at the time was the only manufacturer to produce aftermarket body parts for the MC20, and last was of course in Forza Motorsport, where it was shown in a thumbnail before it was quickly removed. Honestly, at this point, it's become a meme that we are all expecting to see the MC20 in every single upcoming monthly update, but surely at some point we will get it correct, right? Number 7, the Toyota Chaser. And no, the model that Playground Games introduced for Update 38 Hidden Horizons was not the Chaser we were asking for. The Chaser that currently sits at 1,793 votes is the JZX 100 model. Now, I remember a while ago I said that I believe that we would see a JZX 100 in a Forza Horizon game someday, as throughout the years, Playground Games have dropped nuggets of true JDM icons like the Nissan Pulsar GTIR and the Mazda 323 GTR. However, with the recent influx of 90s Japanese icons the developers have introduced, especially during these past few months, including the JZX 81 Chaser, I'm even more hopeful that we will see the one and only true Toyota Chaser one day. I mean, they already have the audio recording for the 1JZ engine. All they got to do now is find a stock JZX 100 somewhere around the world, which could perhaps be a lot more difficult said than done. Number 6, the Chevrolet Chevy. So you might be wondering, why on earth does this Chevrolet Chevy sit so high up with a total of 1,831 votes? Well, there's actually a lot of history with this car. Much like the Nissan Suru, the Chevy was one of the most popular cars in Mexico. In fact, the car was so popular that during the late 2000s, it even beat the Nissan Suru as Mexico's best-selling car before falling back to second place again. Now, I know in its stock form, much like the Suru, the car might not be exciting to drive, but these are the cars that Playground Games goes wild, especially with all the different engine swaps. And imagine imagine if they also introduce some visual customizations as well. I'm sure that will make many Horizon players from Mexico really happy. But as I said previously, if Playground Games wants to introduce this car, it has to be in Horizon 5, simply because there's a real history between the car and where the game is set. Number 5, the Bugatti Bolide. Sitting just shy of 2,000 votes at 1,999, the only other AAA racing titles which feature this car that I know of is the Grid Legends and the Crew Motorfest. Both these titles include the prototype version of the Bolide, which is completely understandable as at the time that was the only version of the Bolide made. However, since then, Bugatti has released a full production version, which although does look very similar to the prototype, statistically speaking, it is heavier with a lot less horsepower. Now, take that however you want, but for me, I'm not bothered. Whether it's the prototype variant or the watered down production model, I just want to see a new to Forza Bugatti featured in a Horizon game, as the last time this happened was way back in update 15 in Forza Horizon 4, where Playground Games introduced the Bugatti Devo. Number 4, the Toyota Altezza or the Lexus IS. With 2,143 votes, I know many players have been craving to see this car return to the Forza franchise, as the last time we saw both the Lexus IS 300 and the Toyota Altezza RS 200 was way back in Forza Motorsport 4 on the Xbox 360. Now, what's actually interesting about this car is that over on the Forza Suggestion Hub, this car remains one of the more active threads where players are constantly discussing which model Playground Games should introduce, other models that were featured in previous Forza games like the Foose design IS 430 project car back in Motorsport 2, and also comparing how accurate the Motorsport 4 car model was to the real life counterpart. It's a pretty interesting thread to read, and it seems like there's a real community here with this car. Number 3, the Koenigsegg Gemera. Sitting at a comfortable third place, the Gemera has accumulated a total of 2,202 votes. Now, much like Bugatti, Koenigsegg hasn't had a new to Forza car introduced into Horizon 5, and honestly, I thought Playground Games would have already introduced the Gemera, given that it is perhaps Koenigsegg's most unique road-going car. It has 4 seats, it's all-wheel drive, it's powered by a 2-litre 3-cylinder twin-turbo engine with 3 electric motors. I mean, this car is truly special. However, recently it was announced that the 3-cylinder version of the Gemera was cancelled and will now have its engine replaced with the same one that is used in the Koenigsegg Jesko, which will now increase the total output from 1,400 brake horsepower to 2,300 brake horsepower, which is absolutely ludicrous. Bring it on, we need a new fastest car in Horizon 5, and I truly think the V8 Gemera might just be the one. Number 2, the Fiat Uno. Currently with 2,594 votes, this Fiat Uno is an incredibly popular car, especially in Brazil, and somehow its popularity has made its way into Forza Horizon 5. Now, as I've mentioned before, I don't really know much about this car as we don't see them here in Australia, but the myth behind the Fiat Uno is that once you place a ladder on the roof, it becomes super speed and can beat any faster and superior car in a straight line. Can anyone watching this video right now please confirm this myth? Now, with update 39 being themed as going back to the 90s, and the Fiat Uno having a solid run from 1983 all the way to 1995, I'm just saying, you never know. I mean, when it comes to popular cars from Brazil, we did get the Volkswagen Santana earlier this year, so nothing's impossible. And lastly, number 1, the Mercedes SLR McLaren. With nearly 3,000 votes, I think it's no secret that most of us just want this car to return, as it's such an iconic vehicle, and what makes it even more frustrating is that we see this car featured in other racing titles as well, like the Crew Motorfest and Gran Turismo 7. But for whatever reason, it seems like after Forza Horizon 2, Playground Games just said screw it. We aren't going to feature this car again. Yes, we did see this car in the debugged version of Forza Horizon 3, but that doesn't mean anything if majority of us can't play it. So, will the developers finally acknowledge this car? I mean, they eventually did introduce the former highest voted car for Horizon 5, the Nissan Tsuru, so maybe there is a chance with the SLR McLaren. But anyways, if you guys did enjoy today's video, please make sure to smash the thumbs up button as it really does help me out. And of course, if you guys would like to stay up to date with everything Forza Horizon related, be sure to subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.